Onward we go. First stage on the open roads. We stay on the island here of Sicily for 207 kilometres.
A very testing route for the riders as well, with a few nasty little climbs out to test their legs on the first real day on the open road of the Giro d'Italia. As you can see, they pretty much cross right over the centre of the city and almost circumnavigate the finishing town of Agrigento, which hosted the World Championships way back in 1995.
Proud moments for the man in pink, and a wry smile there from Van der Velde. On top of the 196 riders, a quick glimpse there of Magnus Bagstad of Sweden as well.
Team Navigari. Euskaltel Euskadi is a team that I would expect to ride well down towards the end of the Giro d'Italia. As always, Phil, it's a very difficult finale, a very difficult final week of the Giro d'Italia, and that's what a lot of these riders are all banking on. That's where I reckon the big decisions will be made. Just a quick glimpse of Emmanuel Seller there checking in, and this is Team Gerolsteiner.
This is where they all sign in, all smiles, facing up to 3 weeks now. Baden Cook there. As the riders now, they all look pretty happy. Pelazzotti, he's expecting a good performance in this year's Giro d'Italia, at least that's what he tells us. As they roll away, 196 riders then, they're heading not far away to Agrigento, 207 kilometres.
A lot of nervousness on the first day of a big grand tour like this, the first day out on the open road, I have to say, and that's why, Phil, because of the crashes. Everybody's very nervous on the first day. I can't see who that bike belongs to, actually. In fact, well, that looks like Dave Zabriskie.
Oh, well, that's really sad. Now, that's happened as they're approaching. See a railroad crossing there, and he's gone off, and he doesn't look at all good, and that is out. Well, that is terribly, terribly sad for Slipstream Chipotle, Paul. They're in the pink, and Zabriskie, a powerhouse in that team time trial, already out of the Giro. What a great shame.
Definitely, I think Dave Zabriskie would be looking to try and ride as he did a little while back in the Giro d'Italia. We're now 3.9 kilometres to go to the finish. You can see the organisation at the front end of the main field. Everybody is doing an impressive job here, trying to keep the sprinters up at the front and out of trouble.
Well, they've only had one serious break all day, and he's been swept up now. He was Dioniso Galperoso, one of the Euskaltel riders. He never got very far ahead, but he was the first attack of this year's Giro d'Italia, and sadly Dave Zabriskie looks like being the first retirement there, and that's going to be a big blow to Slipstream. What a sad day in defence of the Maglia Rosa, which will be up for grabs now with the sprint finish, I think.
Certainly will. You can see the organisation at the front end of the main field. I'm looking to see which of the sprinters are riding. There's the world champion Paolo Bettini, not too far away from the front end of the main field. He's going to like this finish here towards the end today, Phil. It's got a slight climb with around about 500 metres to go, and that's the kind of finish that Paolo Bettini likes. Currently sitting there in 5th position.
Well, pretty warm condition down the island, but the weather itself not looking like it should be down in Sicily at this time of the year. But there's plenty of riders here believe they've got the sprinters to finish this off. But they might get a nasty surprise here. As Paul has said, it isn't a flat sprinters running. It's this long, steady climb. So high-speed tempo riding at the front might shatter this peloton.
You might have noticed one or two riders, in fact, tailing off the back there. Jelle Karlström, one of the riders from Team Liquigas, was in a little bit of difficulty there. I would have expected to see him at the front end of the main field, maybe looking after Daniele Bernati, the big sprinter from this squad.
And there you can see it kick up a little bit now. The fans running up the hill there to see them for a second time as they come round a brilliant horseshoe corner there. And that peloton now is stringing out. And I think the sprinters are going to find themselves out of the hunt here.
Yes, it's definitely a Paolo Bettini type finish here this afternoon. There you can see the temples at the top. This is known as the Valley of the Temples in Agrigento. And this is the same climb that was used in the World Championships when that was won by the Frenchman Luc Leblanc on that occasion.
Going back a long way there, Paul.
I know, 1995. Well, there you can see David Rebellin. It's also a good type of finish for David Rebellin, Phil. A little kick up down towards the end. It might suit him.
I don't know if you caught a glimpse of Contador's face on the left of our picture there. He was really hurting, but holding his position near the front. The story goes he was lying on the beach when Johan Brunel said that they had a late invitation to the Giro d'Italia, and he was in the squad. He's coming here, and he'll just see how he goes, I think. And count every day as it comes.
Well, I wonder if that invitation by the organisers of the Giro d'Italia might prompt the Tour de France, Phil, to change their tune, and maybe with a good performance by Team Astana here, invite that team to the Tour de France. After all, Alberto Contador is the defending champion of the Tour.
Well, it's an interesting thought, but the Tour de France have rarely, if ever, gone back on their decisions. We'll find out soon.
Danilo De Luca there at the tail of the riders in the white jerseys of LPR. Also the kind of finish for a man like him, a defending champion in the Giro d'Italia, and he's sent all of his boys to the front. Look at that, followed by Rebellin, followed by Paolo Bettini, and a little bit further back here you can see just climbing in there, 213. That in fact is Luca Mazzanti, and he's quite a good finisher too. 1.9 kilometers to go to the finish. This, Phil, is a very difficult end to the first stage on the road.
Now, Bettini, I think you picked a good one, because he's holding position here and just letting the riders set the pace for Danilo De Luca. There's De Luca again, the killer, and he looks as pretty determined. It'll be a good start for him. He's hoping to have a very good Giro. He's come close.
Riding at the front there as well, just on the far side in the yellow jersey of Sonia Duval, alongside Alberto Contador, is Riccardo Rico. Now he's a good tip for a victory here as well. This, I think, Phil, is going to be the kind of finish for the men who know how to jump out of the pack down towards the end of a very difficult climb. This climb, in fact, is around about 3 kilometers in length from the bottom up to the summit where the finish line is, but it's the last 500 meters which really start to get grippy.
Danilo De Luca, proudly wearing number 1 as the winner of this race a year ago, and looks like he might be seeking out a pink jersey to start off this one too. The champion of Italy is slipping off the back there, so this high tempo riding, there's a big group holding the pace, but they're all having to be playing the bridegroom here to some terrific teamwork by LPR. This is never, no way, going to be a bunch sprint now as they start to continue the climb to the summit.
Well, you can see Rebellin locked onto the wheel there of Danilo De Luca. He's a good finisher, a very seasoned campaigner, David Rebellin. He knows how to finish from a group like this. But still, it's LPR got pretty much control at the front end of the main field. One or two riders trying to slip in. There's Pellizotti. He's riding at the front. I don't think really, Phil, to try and win the stage here this afternoon, but what he's thinking about is making sure he doesn't lose any time, silly time, on the first day out on the open road, because at the end of the day, the Giro d'Italia is a 3-week event, and it's all about not losing time.
It's a big effort, this, by Team LPR. They must have known this finishing climb. The rider's coming early enough to go and have a look at it. But De Luca wants to make an early impression as last year's winner. We haven't seen anything today of the pink jersey on the shoulders of Christian van der Velde, by virtue of the fact he led the team home in the team time trial yesterday. They've already lost a man in Dave Zabriskie, and that'll hurt the team as we go throughout the next 3 weeks. The big sting in the tail is the final week here, and a late attack here. Rodriguez, I think it is, the champion of Spain, has gone.
Well, that's a nice move by him. He's caught them all unawares. I think they've just gone inside the final kilometre there, so this is a tough move by the Spanish champion.
Huge effort.
He knows now that he's got to do or die there on the front end of the main field. Looks like Leonardo Pipoli. He's doing the work for his teammate Riccardo Rico there in second position. Rebellin is still locked solid right in the middle of that field. Well, Phil, just waiting to jump.
Well, this is a very, very brave and ambitious move here, and he's gone early enough, and he caught Team LPR. They couldn't control it. They have split the peloton in the pursuit, and it's the double-headed Sony Duval team here who are sitting on the front, and De Luca is still holding position behind the two riders from Sony Duval.
Right in there as well was Paolo Salvadelli for Team LPR, so they've got two riders they can try and work this one out, and I think it's just a little bit too hard there for Paolo Bettini, the world champion.
Signed the form's not quite there. I would suggest it would have been a perfect finish for him, but the cricket's not finding his legs to jump with. And Rodriguez continues here as they start to close in, but they may have left this too late. This could be a terrific opening for the champion of Spain. One LPR rider left, and he's giving it his best shot here. De Luca's waiting.
That's Paolo Salvadelli. He's actually sacrificing himself here for Danilo De Luca, and the reason he's doing that is because they've got to pull this man, Joaquim Rodriguez, back into the fold if they want to get the victory. But you can see the pressure here, Phil. It's actually split the field dramatically on this run up to the line.
A last effort by Falco to shut it down. Rodriguez has been nailed back at 75 metres to go. The sprint has started. Riccardo Rico is taking the benefit of the lead out from people in. He's taking it on the line, and that was De Luca who couldn't get round Rico. Will have to be content with second, and it looks like it was Gerolsteiner's Rebellin who probably got third. There's the pink jersey of Christian van der Velde, about 11 seconds back, Paul, so he's out of that jersey.
Well, I'm pretty certain he's going to be out of that jersey, and there's a compliments to the victory for Saunier Duval, and that was a great lead out by Leonardo Pipoli, but the victory going to Ricardo Rico, the new kid on the block. The Cobra is his nickname, and look at this. This is why they call him the Cobra, because when he comes out of the saddle, he's got a real bite and an attack.
Well, I'll tell you what, that really was the time to strike as he came in, but it was Team LPR all the way up that climb, and it was a long finishing climb, and they just gave the race to Rico because the Luke at the end couldn't get round him. Look at this.
And look at David Rebellin on the far side as well. They don't have the younger legs of Ricardo Rico to explode out of the pack there. We're going to have to wait a little bit of time though, Phil. Although Ricardo Rico is the man who gets himself the victory of the stage, we're going to have to do some counting to see who's going to take over the Maglia Rosa, because there's some serious time gaps at the end of this first stage on the open road.
Yes, and they will put in the time gaps today because it was a hill finish as far as they are concerned. The big hills coming in the final week. There's the result. Rico ahead of De Luca Rebellin. Pelazzotti, good finish for him for Liqui.